How's it gaming? I'm Phil in the Blanks and welcome back to the Black Box Files with File 28, Volleyball. I don't know if you remember that music, but that is the same music that we heard way back with like baseball and tennis. It is an early NES song. And that kind of says a lot about this game, because despite this being a 1986 Famicom game and a 1987 NES game, this game feels really ancient by now. The last few games we've been seeing, like from Super Mario Brothers all the way to all those arcade classics to Gumshoe and all those, like those feel like big improvements in the NES library. This really does feel like something that could have come out launch day, and that's not a good thing. I think this might be one of, if not the worst game, I think, for the Black Box titles. You could argue Urban Champion, absolutely, but Urban Champion was kind of functional. Anyways, this game, there's training. Let's go to game. What's kind of neat, and I do like this, is you can choose men or women. I do think that's kind of cool. It's the only time you can really have that choice. In Japan, there was the golf, like ladies golf, which I think came out in North America as a Play Choice 10 title, not an actual NES title. But yeah, and we can also choose who we're going to fight against. I guess we have to be the US, but you can be like Cuba, China, the Russia, USSR back then, Japan, Brazil, Korea, and Tunisia, which is a different one. Let's play against Tunisia. We're gonna play the women, because I just think it's neat that that's the main choice here. It's kind of cool. And they have their little butt wiggle, and men have their weird little air thrust. It's a weird little animation. Get that joke out of the way. Here's a weird little animation for the characters. Let's just jump in there. I do like the music. I'll say that. The music's fun. But yeah, this is, I guess, technically a volleyball game. It is very janky and it's very difficult to play against. Well, there we go. That was a good start. Very hard to play against the computer. You have to be very precise. And the way the computer just chooses which characters you're controlling is very odd. A is to volley. Gotta get with a different character. Jeez. And B is to jump and spike and all that, and it does not work at all. Let's try to spike. Like there. I'm just not good at it. I am horrible at this game, and at first I thought it was me. I was like, I read the manual, I'm like, what is wrong? And then I go online, and everyone sort of agrees that this game is just, what the hell? Is just bad. It's hard for no reason. It's really weird. That being said, at this point in time, there were no other volleyball games for the NES, so what choice were you going to make? You had to do something, right? And this was volleyball if you wanted to play volleyball. Now, there are obviously plenty of other volleyball games, maybe not plenty, of volleyball games for the NES. The best one, in my opinion, is Super Spike V-Ball, which we have actually already played on the channel, so I think this is the first time we've actually played a sport twice on the channel. Maybe? I'm not sure. But we don't play a lot of sport games on the channel anyways, so. But yeah. There was also Beach Kings or Kings of the Beach, I forget. It was by Konami. I remember playing that a little bit when I was a kid and thinking it was pretty cool, but I loved Super Spike V-Ball. There were also a couple more. There was one in Japan, which was, I think, the Sanrio characters. And there was also an unlicensed one called, I think, just Venice Beach or something like that. Basically, there were a couple of volleyball games, but you'll probably have noticed that the difference, though, is all those were beach volleyball. And that is 2 versus 2, which works a lot better than indoor volleyball, which is 6v6. And for such an early title, I mean, even though this was 86 in Japan and 87 in America, this is still very early. The NES went for quite a few years. So this is like, I don't know why you wouldn't just choose the 2-on-2. That must have been easier to make, right? So, I don't know why they made that decision, but it was probably the wrong decision. Ah, damn. But in the end, what they made was sort of not a great game, and as a launch title, I could see being like, okay, you know what? If you're a big volleyball fan, maybe you'll have some fun with this. By the time this was out, we were well into third-party titles coming out, and just something like this wasn't truly worth it, right? So, I think if there's any black box file you can just ignore, it's Stack Up. But if you don't have to rob the robot, then it's this. The music's fun, though. It's a cute little ditty. Why am I only controlling, like, who it chooses that you control is super weird. And you gotta react to it really quickly. A lot of problems, unfortunately. But, in the end, I will 100% say this is probably a lot of fun to play with a friend. And I think that's true of a lot of bad games. If you have a... that one just screwed off. They're just like, bye! Ooh, I can't believe you got that. Didn't get that, though. I think a lot of bad games have a bit of a saving grace of being a really fun multiplayer game. Depends. It depends on what kind of friends you have. Oh, that was funny. I like that a lot. Bad games back then were like kind of like really bad movies where you can kind of still get some enjoyment out of it. Bad games nowadays can just be bad. Bad games back then, I don't know, there's something phenomenal about them in a weird way. Anyways, that being said, we are only going to play one match? Set? I don't know. I don't know what they're called. We're only going to play one thing to 15. Either we'll win or Tunisia will win. We are not doing a full 5 games, which is what you're normally supposed to do. If I was like clobbering them, maybe, but it's going to take way too long. And this game just doesn't hold my attention the way a lot of the other black box games do, so... Going for a spike? No, you just missed. Good job. You only get a point if you are serving the ball, which is, I guess, different from beach volleyball, where you just get a point, and then you also get to serve. That was out. Yeah, that was good. One of the things I do like, though, I like the crowd. The fact that there is a crowd is fun, even though a good chunk of them are not paying attention to us. But it is neat that there is a crowd, because that was something you didn't see a whole lot of back then. You know, that's a lot of room, like code that takes up a lot of room, right? For no reason, just to have a little background of characters that move around. So, good on them for that. It's got a little bit of flavor in that sense, so pretty cool. Doing pretty good point-wise. Maybe I should try for a spike. They're going for it. They can't even do it. They're the computer and they're not even being able to spike very well. So maybe I shouldn't, because you can block too, which is kind of neat. Like right here. Oh, block it! And see, that's not gonna do me any good. Oh, see, like, why wouldn't it allow me to control the character right next to the ball? It was like, no, we're gonna make you control the other two way back. It's super, super weird. Super, super weird. And like I said, with this being the 28th game on the Black Box Files, this is late, man. This is late in the game. This is in 1987 for the NES. Not a good look. Oh, I don't even know what... Yeah, but that's not gonna be good. You were showing your friend, I got this new video game system. And this was the game you showed them? They wouldn't like video games. Ah, come on, really? 9-4. Go Tunisia! Eh. So this, just like a few of the other games we've seen on the Black Box Files, wasn't actually developed by Nintendo. It was just published. And there's a few of those. Golf's a perfect example, pinball's a perfect example, Balloon Fight's a perfect example. Those are all done by HAL Laboratory, and they worked very close with Nintendo a lot of the times. Then you have games like Kung Fu, made by Irem, but published by Nintendo. But that was published by Nintendo in North America only, and not published by Nintendo in Japan. This was made, I think this is the first game published by Nintendo, but made by Pax Softnica. I don't really know a lot of other games that they've made, but I don't think they're generally regarded to be a very good developer. I know they did some stuff, I think with Capcom, not sure. Maybe they worked on 1942? It's like a pretty botched port. I don't know if that was them or not. But they weren't a super well-known. It's kind of funny, growing up, you just thought, you know, this was made by Capcom. It was just made by Capcom, because that's what it said. And that's not going to count either. Dumb. You just thought these companies all made their own games, like LJN made all their games. It's not actually true. I think the first one I really realized was Chunsoft, which actually made the early Dragon Quest games, along with Enix at the time. It's kind of interesting how that stuff works. They went for it! Why would you go for it, Tunisia? Do you not know the rules of volleyball? To be fair, I actually really like volleyball. I used to play a bit of it in high school, the indoor kind of gymnasium volleyball, similar to the way this is. And I really enjoyed it. I wasn't super good at it. I was actually a big fan of badminton. Placed usually really high on my high school's badminton tournaments. Well, it was only like in 2 or 3 of them, but it was nice. Never won. That's fine. Still fun. I'm not a sporty guy, so having something that I do kind of enjoy is just kind of nice sometimes. Beach volleyball I've never played. 1, I don't like beaches very much. 2, no one wants to see this beach pod. There's that. To be fair, I'm actually a little surprised they never... See, why wouldn't you let me control the one above? I think they should have made a little volleyball mini-game in Top Gun for NES. That would have been a lot of fun. Yeah, Tunisia, come on. You're letting it all go. And boink. Oh, wow. Yeah, keep just doing that. I think this will be... match point? Set point? Game set match point? I don't know. We're ending it here once we get this point. If we get it, that is. There is a little victory if you get to win 3 of them. But I don't think I'm going to care that much. There we go. You just go to the other side, which is kind of cute. A little bow. Now we're on the other side. But that is volleyball. I'm actually surprised I did this well. I 100% thought I was going to completely lose. It's like a best 2 out of 3 thing, which is kind of nice. It's not like you have to win a full 5. But, no, there are plenty of... Wow, I almost spiked it. There are plenty of better sport games in the Black Box series of games that you really should not waste your time with this for very long. It is a shame, because the last 2 games we're going to see on the Black Box files are also sports titles, but instead of being like straight-up sports titles, they're a little bit more arcadey. Because next up on the Black Box files, file number 29, we will be doing Pro Wrestling. I'm Phil Blanks. See you next level. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to know when the next episode is up. If you want to support my channel, share some videos with some friends and consider supporting me on Patreon.